Alright, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 boxes event. Same thing as like the video I posted a while ago regarding the lost pages, but this time we're going to be talking about the 5 boxes and doing a rundown of everything that you can get from the 5 boxes event, whether it be drops in certain areas, etc. We'll talk all about that and give you guys more of a walkthrough of the entire thing. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff, and let's get into today's content. So if you wanted to start the 5 boxes event, it just depends on your level. Of course, if you already are a max, then do the highest one. But if you are a badge collector and that's something up your alley, you can just do all of them, right? So once you're like level 80, you can do any that is level 80 and below. Same thing, vice versa. It just requires level requirements on each one. So 10 and above can start from Wizard City. So start from there and make your way all the way up based upon your level. So what's the point of doing the 5 boxes event? Is it something you should do at this point in the game? It really comes down to personal preference, right? Mainly people do this either because they want the badge or because of the fact that they want to farm the energy gear. Some people do it even for monstrology, of course. So it just really comes down to the person you are. But first, let's start off with the Wizard City, right? So to start off, if you are a level 10, you can only start this quest at level 10, of course, but 10 and above, you can start this. Go to the professor in the commons and you can visit him. He has a quest for you and it'll get you started up. You do that and you can start entering the telegraph box, and that will make you essentially start the whole quest line. And there is a recipe vendor in there as well. So the recipe vendor is in every single box. It's no different. It's exactly the same. It has the same stuff. If I were you, I would highly recommend just buying all the stuff there, because you have to wait till the next 5 boxes event to be able to get that stuff. And the reagents that are required, you can basically get at any time. Even the springs. The springs used to be only from this event, but once other talents got added into the game, made it easier to get some of these reagents. So even the springs, like the sonic springs, you just need to have a talent on your pet that's required, which is pretty easy if I do say so myself. But highly recommend that you guys buy all the reagents that are offered, or all the recipes that are offered there. So when it comes to this quest line in Wizard City, what is a drop for the Wizard City portion? Well, 3 of the fights drop energy gear. Nothing else that's notable from there other than like reagents and stuff like that. But the Frosty Walker will give you energy gear corresponding to either level 10 or level 20. No mounts. I know some of these fights that I'm going to be talking about in the video do have like 1-day version mounts or even 7-day versions, but I didn't want to include those because they're not really notable, right? There's no point in like farming 7-day mounts in my opinion, so that's why we're just going to exclude those. But the Frosty Walker will drop you level 10 or level 20 energy gear, and also some other variations from the pack. The pack that is in question is the Wyvern Horde pack. Of course, people do open this pack whenever it is there, right? It's something that they could buy. But this gear has eventually gotten power crept over time, right? This gear isn't that good anymore, but it is there for free-to-play people that don't want to, you know, open packs. It is a good alternative at the moment. I know there's some other pieces as well that you can get from gauntlets, but from this event, at least if you wanted to, definitely get yourself a green warden energy set. It does drop the other 2 sets from the pack, but there's nothing notable on them that I would be like, maybe you guys should try to farm this. So that's why I'm not including those in the video. The highlight of the whole drops is the energy gear. Now after the Frosty Walker, there is another mob. I think it's Baku. It's like a elephant, right? Definitely I'm going to extract this with monstrology. It's a unique elephant, right? It's just a copy paste one, but the name is different. So definitely I'm going to be using some monstrology and getting him in my arsenal. But he also does drop the 10 or the level 20 energy set as well, alongside the other 2 versions of the Wisteria pack, or not the Wisteria, the Wyvern pack. And then lastly, Burnt Black also drops the level 10 and 20 energy versions of the set as well. But it's a pretty straightforward quest line. It's just a lot of fights and dialogue. There's no notable cheats, so don't worry about it. But you guys can definitely farm the Wizard City one if you wanted the level 10/20 energy variations of the gear. Now we move over to Marley Bone. The sucky thing is about Marley Bone is that only one fight gives you energy gear, which is either concerning or that not many people have got it to drop and it's just not written anywhere. So from my experience, I did do it a couple times and only the last fight was able to give me energy gear, and I was getting level 30/40 variations. So definitely, if that's something you want to do, go for it. There's nothing else that's notable. Like I said, definitely it's just a quest that you can grab in Marley Bone, talk to the professor, he'll give you the whole introduction and just do that whole dungeon, and you do get a badge, of course, if that's something up your alley. Of course, once you finish all the whole 5 boxes event, you do get a badge, additional badge stacked up on top of all the other ones. Now let's talk about Mushu. Mushu has a couple fights that also drop some energy gear. If you want to do any of the aunts that are in the fight, they do give you level 40 or 50 energy gear sets. You can also get the other 2 sets as well from the pack, so keep that in mind if you are trying to collect the whole 3 sets. And then the last fight in the dungeon also gives you energy set as well. So Ostrome, I think Ostrome, he also does drop you the energy set if that's something that you want for level 40s or 50s. But I mean, like I said, it's personal preference at the end of the day, and maybe that's something you want, right? Maybe you wanted a low tier version of the energy set, but overall the fights are not that hard, not too difficult at all. Now we move over to the Safario one. I think a lot of people like the Safario one because you can do monstrology on the armadas, and you can also get some energy gear, and just overall I've seen a lot of people like the Safario one, surprisingly. But there's 3 fights that do give you energy gear. The Chomper McGill, I think that's the first fight that you do in the dungeon, but he can drop 60 or 70 variations of the pack gear, including the energy gear, of course. Buster Crab, same scenario. I'm kind of glad that they actually did like Pyro 101 references in here, and that's why like a lot of people are enjoying this one and has like a special place in people's hearts, just because you can see a Pyro 101 reference in Wiz, which is, hey, they did it at one point in the game. But yes, Buster Crab does give you 60/70 energy variations alongside the pack stuff, and then the Armada enemies at the end of the dungeon, they also give you 60/70 versions as well. You can extract the boss if you wanted to. I highly recommend that you do if you are a collector, just because the fact that you can't really get this guy anywhere else from what I've heard in the community. So definitely, if that's something up your alley, monstrology, extract that, but as a house guest, could be a subtle flex, never know. And then we move on to the last one, which is the Avalon one. Avalon one is level 80, and just 3 fights that are actually really interesting, that give you a good amount of gear if that's something up your alley, right? Lore Master drops a permanent mount. From what I've seen, you can get an orange fairy wings permanent mount from here. And some people like the wings and they don't want to spend money on either the pack or farm other places, so I highly recommend that you guys do that, right? So you can get the orange fairy wings alongside of the pack stuff. You know, you can get the energy gear for level 80, which is the highest that you can get from the whole 5 boxes event. It doesn't drop like 100 variations or anything like that, because the 5 boxes event is quite old. I don't think that they're going to update it anytime soon, so it's just an event that just returns whenever they get the opportunity to do so. Maybe down the line, if they really want to revamp this event, they could add a 100 version, which would be kind of nice for the players that do want a energy set. That's the Green Warden set, I believe, for level 100s. Kind of nice. But back to the enemies that drop stuff. Yes, Lore Master will drop you a perm. Also, you can get the energy sets from Lore Master as well, alongside the pack stuff. Then we move on to the other fight, which is the Elite Battle Mage. They drop the perm mount as well for the orange fairy wings, and you can get the energy gear and the pack gear alongside of it as well. Lastly, we have Sylvia Spitfire alongside of Maestro. He does drop the perm mounts. I believe it's a Maestro or the Sylvia Drake, but they're in the same fight, so it's kind of hard to tell. But they both are in that fight, and from that whole fight you can get either the blue or orange fairy wings mount, alongside of course the energy set, which a lot of people are gunning for because, you know, it's a free-to-play set that you don't have to buy bundles for. Of course, you don't have to farm separate gauntlets for, you know, you don't have to ask people around. You can just literally go here and keep farming it. Obviously the best one to farm is going to be the Avalon one, similar to the Lost Pages, like where people farm the Azteca one. This is going to be the one that people farm specifically for the perm mounts or the energy gear. It's the only reason people would farm this. So that's it for the notable drops. I'd say it's just mainly like the pack gear, of course, and the mounts in the Avalon variation. Other than that, there's nothing that's like insanely from here. Of course, you can get the perm mounts that do that you can craft. Like I said, just buy the recipes, right? And if you are farming the Avalon one, of course you're gonna get some springs that you can use for those recipes, which might be something up your alley, right? But you can always craft those later down the line, because like I said, if you have a balance scout on a pet, you can just use the pet talent to be able to get springs to craft those mounts. So like I said, just buy all the recipes and craft them whenever you feel like, you know, because like I said, you can't get these recipes at the moment from anywhere else, and it's only from the event. So if you just buy the recipes, you'll have them forever on that character and just craft whatever and transfer it over to whatever character. Highly recommend that you do so, just because if you wanted those mounts. And it's a free perm mount that you guys can craft, of course, if someone doesn't have any mounts and they don't want to farm other sources. It's a free perm mount that you can just craft. Pretty straightforward. But that's it for the 5 boxes event. It's a pretty small event, if I do say so, compared to the other one. It's just up to interpretation, in my opinion. Well, if I had to pick one of the events, I would prefer Lost Pages, just because there's more to do, in my opinion. While 5 boxes, it is there. Like, you can get a perm mount, you could get the energy gear, but I feel like that gear is more power crept than anything else. I mean, it's always going to happen in Wiz. I mean, we all know that. But yeah, so if you wanted to know how to do the event, there you go. And like I said, when it comes to the levels, if you want to do Wizard City, you got to be level 10 and above. Marley Bone is going to be 30 above, Mushu 40 above, Safario 60 above, and Avalon will be 80 and above. So just go there to the respected places, grab the quests in the respected spots, and you guys should be good to go. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And good luck on getting your guys' perm mounts or your energy gear. Highly recommend that you farm the Avalon one instead of the other ones. But if you do want the badges and if you want to collect monstrology stuff, for sure do all the other ones, and then also get the badge for completing all of them as well. But that is it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.